The next demo uses this little tag. Now when I made the tag, I didn't know I'd want to use it, but when you make a versatile tool like this that tags an element that can be used for a lot of different things, well, then right after that, I saw this really neat frame in my email. Where'd it go? At my scrap chick, and she had some really nice frames that I really liked. Those are from my scrap chick, and I looked at those and I thought, ooh, I can make those. Hey, I can use that tag from my kite and make a frame like that. So I decided I'm going to do it. At that point I wasn't going to buy hers because I thought, well, we can do that really easy and make the cut. Well, it wasn't, but a couple days ago, everything at her site went on sale for 50 cents if you bought 10 things, so you could get 10 of her projects for $5. So I went ahead and bought a whole bunch of her stuff because I really liked it, and then I didn't have to make it. At least she had a whole bunch of these frames, so her sales goes until tomorrow. You won't be able to get the sale if you see this on the recording, but really nice frames. So what I did is I took that same little tag that we just made, and I made this pop-up frame, and that was fun. So then I thought, oh, I could do it a little differently, and I used the same frame, but I used a different nested function to come up with this one. And I cut them out and assembled them, and I found a picture of our most recent grandbaby, and she looked really cute in these frames. So I thought I'd show you how to do this simply. Now I made these before I purchased the files from my scrap chick, but I just, from looking at the picture, got the idea. So I'm going to close out this one, and we'll open the other. So here's the first one that I made, and the second one that I made, and then I added an easel and a backing after I saw that my scrap chick had a backing and easel. And I'm probably going to just close this out because this is very memory intensive on the webinar. I don't want to have this JPEG is huge, so it takes up a lot of memory, but I just wanted to show you that. So what I'm going to do is close that, and I'm going to grab out of my Kite Card, I'm going to grab this little design here. Maybe I'll get the green one, and Control-C copy. And I'm going to take it over to edit, paste in place. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Got two of them. Okay, so what I needed to do is make sure I have this centerpiece. This is where my picture is going to show through on the frame. So I want this big enough to show the picture. So I think maybe I'll make it 4 inches and press enter. It's almost 4 inches. I think I'll make it 4 inches square. And from there, it's very simple to do what we call a nested duplicate. So you go to Edit, duplicate, nested duplicate. Now we can either scale by shadowing or scale by width. In my first duplicate, I did scaling by width because I wanted to keep these lines exactly the same for every copy. Then I'll show you what it looks like scaling by shadowing. You can pick any two colors, and of course our machine will cut whatever paper we put on the mat, but using the colors helps me to work with the layers more efficiently. So I decided that I wanted 6. You don't have to have 6. I think she used maybe 5, or 4 or 5. It doesn't matter how many layers you use. You can use as many or as little as you want. And I like the gap of 0.08. The gap just determines how much space or how much bigger the next one is. So I'm going to click on preview so you can see what we have. The start color and the finish color, so each layer is a different color. And if I wanted to make this bigger, I could make this 0.1 and preview. And then each of the layers is a little bit more spread out. So I will click on accept for that. And right now they're all on one layer, but if I right click on this layer and select to each its own, then each one of these pieces goes to its own layer. But I've got it back up because I forgot to make my frame. So I'm going to undo. I'm back to here. The inside is 4 inches, but I want the outside also. So I'm going to just Control Shift click, and I'm going to make this outside to be maybe 6 inches. And I'll make this a green mat. So I select both and type S to stack them, and now I'm going to join them. So now I have a frame. Once I have the frame, now I can do this nested duplicate, and it will duplicate both the inside and the outside lines all at once. And I can preview. And I should have inside and outside lines. I can't see them too well there. Let me go to outline. Ah, there they are. So you see we have inside lines here and lines here. So what I'm going to do now, I put it in outline mode so I can see the lines very clearly. What I'm going to do is click on the, I'm going to break all these apart by just break. What I'm going to do is click on the outside line and hold the shift and click on the inside line, join, send it to its own layer, and hide the layer. Then I'm going to click on the outside, hold shift, and I'm going to click on the inside. And get the inside first. Maybe I better send these to the top. Okay. Inside, hold a shift, and outside, join, and send to its own layer and hide it. That way I know which ones I've selected. Outside, shift, inside, join, own layer, and hide. So outside, inside, join, own layer, and hide. You'll be really good at this after you do it a few times. Outside, hold shift, inside, join, smaller of the two green plus icons sends it to its own layer, and clicking on the eyeball of that layer hides it. So outside, oops, undo, Control Z, outside, shift, inside, join, own layer, hide. And now I have this final one. Again, join, send it up there, and now I can see all of them by clicking on the eye and show all. Then we'll go back to the outline and fill so we can see them. So now you can see I have this top layer is the one that I added the texture to. Then all the rest I cut out of white. And I want to make sure the whole thing will cut out of 8.5 by 11 paper, so I select it all and I see, well, it's only 7.2 inches wide, so I'm fine. It'll fit on 8.5 inch wide paper. But the back layer, I would like it to be solid because I want to be able to put my picture on it. So I'm going to select just the outside line, and I'll click on blackout, and now I have the background solid. And you can look on the layers over here. You see the bottom layer is solid just by clicking on the blackout. Now what my scrap chick recommended is to have another piece. What we do is we take each one of these layers and we put a little pop dot, or you could use, if you want to make a sticker out of some fun foam, by putting it through your sticker maker on one side, and then on the other side you could make your own pop dots. Thin pop dots worked well for me. I just put pop dots between each of these layers after I cut them out. But on the back layer, she recommended using a heavy double-sided sticky tape and making that back layer stick directly to the layer in front of it, but only on 3 sides, so that you could slide in a picture and have it be, you could change it. It would hold the picture in place if you put the double-sided tape right around the opening where the picture would be. So I did that. And then the other thing that she did that I thought was kind of good was that she cut an extra backing out of chipboard. Now to do that, I can add a square, SQ, double click, and I put that on its own layer by clicking on the smaller, the 2 green plus icons. And I would like this backing to be at least as big as the opening, so it would cover the whole opening. But the purpose of this is to give it some stability, so that if you want to hang it, or if you want to put it on an easel, or have an easel on the back, so that it would hang better and more firmly if you put this on chipboard. And she said to cut paper for both sides of it if you want. Anyway, this piece here is shaped like the outside piece. So what I'm going to do is select the outside piece, Control Shift and click to get another, and bring it over here. And I'll select both and type a V for align vertically, so they're vertically aligned. And with both selected, I'm going to go to Boolean join and use the down arrow to take me to intersect. And this gives me a backing piece that's mostly straight, which when I cut chipboard I really don't like cutting these rough edges too much, but this will give it some stability on the back side so it won't collapse, because all the rest of this is just paper. So this would be the backing. So I use a Boolean join to create the backing. We can change its color if we want, represent chipboard maybe with a tan. And the other thing that she did, now I tend to hang my frames on walls because I don't have any table space for stand-up frames, but if you would like to have an easel back on your frame, you can get an easel from the gallery, make the cut gallery. I'll click on descending and I'll just type in easel and search, and we get several easel styles. Some of these are pretty nice. There's a kind of a double-sided one that's nice if you want. I didn't like all of the fancy stuff on that for chipboard if you're going to use chipboard, but this one looked kind of interesting. An easel to make cards stand up with a little demo on how it works. So this would work. Let's see, what other one do we have here? A couple pages worth of. This is the one that I cut out, and I kind of made it similar to this one. But hey, if this one works, why not? If you notice, when I click on this, I can't select anything here. What I need to do is unlock all so that I can select. I believe this is how it's supposed to go together on your project, and this is kind of the cutting piece. That one will cut too, and this shows the little tab on it. But if you want to copy this, Control C, then you can go to your, I'll add a new layer by clicking on the larger green plus icon and Control Shift V to paste in place. Now this is kind of a small little tab, so I might make it a little bigger so that it will kind of fit on that piece of chipboard I already cut. And you can use this. It's got the score lines on it already, and these flaps fold out, and these little curved pieces hold it open for you. So there you have. You can. I just cut mine. I did not cut mine out of chipboard. I just cut it out of more cardstock, and it actually worked well. I cut one of these and one of these, and I didn't use chipboard, and my frame is sitting nicely on my table right now. So here's another homework assignment. Make a label and then make a frame out of it. Let's see what you come up with, because your frame can be very different from mine. Now, I promised earlier that I'd show you another way that I did this. So I need to get that original frame and show you how to use it. See, we'll hide all. That's not the smallest one, but I better go back and get my original frame from my Kite Card. I'd like to show you how this one shape, and you're going to make a shape, right? It's how this one shape can turn into two different shapes of frames. So there's the one. Now, I won't go through the entire process again, but I'll just show you how it works. Control Shift V to paste in place, and I made that. It started with that being 4 inches by 4 inches. So when I go to Edit and Duplicate and Nested Duplicate, and I use by shadowing here, I end up with something very different. And I'll show you. I use the same colors, I use the same gap. I think I probably used a bigger gap on my original one. then you can preview it. Oh, and I forgot, I got to make the frame first. I'll do Control, Shift, click, and we'll make this one 6 inches. Select them both, stack with a S, and join. Now I have a frame that I can duplicate. So I start with that one, then I'm going to go to duplicate nested. I'm going to do it by shadowing this time and preview. So now I got a very different shape. And I do the same thing that I did there with the layers. Again, I'm going to just break apart everything and view by outline. And so now I can, again, start with, I'm going to send the inside ones to the front if I can. I'm going to break these again. I hit the wrong one. I hit weld before. Break. Here we go. I'll grab the inside ones and send them to the top, and then hold the shift and click the outside and the inside. Now let me do that. Send them to the top. Must have welded them or something. So again, you're going to select inside and outside, just like we did before. And I'll probably have to do this again because it's just undo. It's not letting me select them, and I know it should. Duplicate, nested duplicate, shadowing, preview, accept, and now I'm going to break all of them apart. And we'll send the center ones up to make them easier to select. Hold a shift, join, and send to its own layer. So the process is just the same, but we end up with this totally different look. As you can see, duplicating by on the nested by shadowing resulted in a larger and larger curved line as it got larger. By scaling, we ended up with the same exact shape, just a little bit larger. And either way it works, just makes a difference in the final outcome of your project. So do we have any questions?
There have been no questions for this one either, so.
So either I bored you to death, or you're just so smart that you've got it all figured out.
Or you're very thorough.
So now you can take your choice, and you can change the spacings, you can change the basic frame, and I'd really like to see what you do with it. I think it's a really effective 3D kind of design. So I'll show you my pictures again, just so you can see hers. She has all different shapes, all different designs, and so I liked how this one came out. I just printed with photo paper, and I used one of the basic tiles from Lettering Delights and just changed it to a pink, and it was very effective in that. And this one was just a piece of digital paper. Somebody had posted this week, do you use digital papers? Well, I did, and I would rather, what I did is I printed just a square of this digital paper, and I cut the frame out of it. I didn't try to print and cut or anything, and the rest of the design was just all out of white, inexpensive white cardstock from Office Depot or Walmart, I think.